Hey guys, it's me, Liberty Whispers, with video 100. It has been a little while coming, but we are here. We are now officially into 3 digits, triple digits. And to celebrate, I guess is the right word, I don't know. I decided I'm going to do the Get to Know Me tag, which apparently I thought I had done, but it turns out I haven't. So, we're going to do that, and I asked on Facebook for some additional questions, so I've got a couple of those. So we're going to go through them, but let's go through the Get to Know Me tag video as well. And what I'm going to do is, if you're watching this and you haven't done this yourself, then tag You Are It. And that goes doubly for anybody that is in the community that is simply watching videos but has been on the fence about actually making them. If you've been thinking about doing it for a while, then you've no option now. Tag You're It. You've got to make an account, you've got to get whispering, get yourself out there and enjoy this wonderful, wonderful community and all it has to offer. Okay, so without further ado, let's get going with this tag. So the first section is vital stats. Name, Liberty Whispers, or my real name is Malcolm or Mal. Whichever you want to call me. I'm good with whatever. Nickname, oh goodness. I've had a few in my time. When I was in high school, people used to call me Mally, but I hate that name, and I probably just shot myself in the foot by saying something I hate, but yeah, I hated that name. Other nicknames, Little Bear was one at one point, and it was kind of a thing I adopted simply because I love bears. Bears are my favourite animal. I have been called Bananas before because it fits with my surname. I can't think. I have just sort of accumulated them over the years and what have you, but yeah, there's a few. There's some others that I probably have, but I can't think of or have had rather. Anyway, number 3, date of birth. That would be the 13th of April. Unlucky for some, I guess. If you believe in all that. I wasn't born on a Friday the 13th, if anyone was wondering. I was actually born on a Saturday at around 9 a.m. I always remember that because for some reason it just occurs to me that I was in time for Saturday morning cartoons. So, yay. Place of birth is where I currently am at the minute. I'm not going to give my exact location, but I will say that it is one of the most northerly points in England. So I am a true northerner, as it were, and I've only ever lived in the north. I used to live in Yorkshire at one point in a place called Huddersfield. But now I live just underneath the border of Scotland. Which, I mean, it's not hard to figure out where I live if you have access to a map, and who doesn't these days, so there you go. Go work it out if you really want to, but star sign, I am an Aries, which is the ram, which I believe is a stubborn creature, which is quite apt and fitting. Occupation. My current occupation is night shift worker at a petrol station or gas station off the motorway / highway, giving American and English equivalents there, which is not the best of jobs. I've been there about 3 months, and I'm already looking for something else, to be honest, but it's because of the hours, really, and there's just so much stress and what have you, because I'm the only person in, until the morning, and it's not ideal, but it's money, and with that I can't complain at the minute. But yes, I'm looking to change my occupation. I do, as some of you will know, I do a lot of contributing to different websites. I run a website of my own. I do a lot of writing, a lot of freelance writing. I've done some freelance graphic design work as well, so hopefully at some point all of the hours and stuff I've put into that will pay off somewhere in that field. That would be nice. Section number 2, appearance. Hair colour is dark brown, very dark, not quite black, but very, very, very dark brown. Hair length. This is a timely question because I've just had my hair cut. If I had done this a week ago, it would have been like a Beatles mop top. Like, my hair gets really thick. It doesn't really grow long. It kind of grows thick and outwards, almost like a hair helmet. I have been referred to as a Playmobil man, which isn't the most flattering of names, but yeah, that's what it was. But now it's short. It's in hairdressing terms, I had a short back and sides with a number 3 in terms of length. So there you go, that's quite precise if you know your hairdressing, I guess. Eye colour, that would be blue. Best feature. Oh, goodness. Eyes or cheekbones, I think. I have kind of defined cheekbones, but I do like my eyes, I guess. But then I guess that's not really a question for me to answer. So, yeah, I don't know. Number 5, braces. No, I did when I was in high school, much to my protest. Oh my goodness, I hated having braces, but thankfully I did. Because they straightened my teeth out nicely, contrary to popular belief, not all Brits have wonky teeth. And I do have quite straight teeth now. Although had I not had braces and the proper dental care at the time, chances are I wouldn't. So, yeah. Number 6, piercings. No, I wouldn't really want to get any piercings either. I mean, I don't really like the idea of, just the word itself, piercing, is actually quite menacing and violent sounding, so no thanks. I can do without holes in my body. And to those that do, fair play, you obviously have a much stronger threshold than me. I don't know, it's just something I've never, even aesthetically, I've never really seen it being a style that works for me, but for other people, sure. Just not for me. 7 is tattoos. I don't have any at the moment, but I do want to get some at some point, and as a sort of ongoing casual project, I'm kind of working on potential ideas, although they have changed variably throughout the years, so I'm still working on that. But I think when I do eventually get one, I want it to be of my own sort of design rather than just going into a tattoo parlour and picking one out the catalogue or off the wall and going, yeah, that one. You know, I want to kind of put some thought into it and, you know, make it myself in a way. Number 8, right or left-handed? Right. Yep, nothing interesting about that. I'm just a straight up right-handed person. Not a southpaw, not ambidextrous. Just good old-fashioned, reliable right. Okay, firsts. First best friend. That would probably be a guy called Stefan, who was my best friend in primary school, which is like, I don't know what the US equivalent to primary school is. It's kind of like before junior high, whatever that is, grade school, I don't know. But I would have been about 5, and we became really good friends in class, and because of that my mum became really good friends with his, and although we don't really speak anymore, we used to hang out a lot, all the time. It was cool. Number 2, first award. I'm gonna probably think it was for swimming. That's the one that's coming to mind for swimming achievements. I used to do a lot of swimming. Not so much anymore, but when I was younger I did a lot, so I think it was for that. I don't know what it's like if in the US you have swimming awards and stuff, but over here, at least when I was of age, you used to get awards for different things, for different swimming different lengths of the pool, different distances, different sort of training stuff, like you would swim in your pyjamas, you would fetch a brick from the bottom of the pool, stuff like that. I remember we had a swimming teacher called Mr. McAllister, and he was hardcore, even to kids. He was just always pushing, and like you couldn't be lackadaisical in his classes. You know, it was go big or go home with him. So yeah, first sport probably was swimming, I guess, unless you count like PE, physical education at school, in which case it was like a mix of sports. It's like rounders, football, soccer, badminton. Rounders is kind of like baseball, but with a short, stumpy bat and a smaller condensed area. Yeah, so it's probably either that or swimming. Number 4, first holiday was to Austria and Germany. Although I was too little to really remember anything about it except 2 things. I remember getting a great big pencil in the gift shop, and I remember how old would I have been? I would have been about 6. No, maybe less. 6 or under, I'm going to say, just as a rough estimate. But I remember getting the big pencil from the gift shop, and I had a strange habit as a child of biting drinking glasses. Like, when they were empty, I would sort of bite on the glass, and I remember breaking open a glass, like, breaking it to bits and chewing on the glass, and miraculously never cut myself, never hurt myself, never swallowed any. But yeah, those are the 2 things I remember. I was a strange child. A strange thing for chewing. I used to chew my toys as a kid. I was just a hyper child that had issues, I guess. Number 5, first concert. I really don't want to answer this because it's embarrassing, considering I'm like a huge music fan now. Oh God, it's so bad. My first concert was, I went to see the band Wheatus. I don't know if anyone even remembers them, but they had a song called Teenage Dirtbag that was out years and years ago. Oh my god, and I remember, like, at the height of that song, going to see them. That was my first concert. Strangely enough, last year, they're still together. If you know of the band, they are still together. And I know this because they were doing a local tour, and I didn't go. Before anyone says anything, didn't go. But my mom works at a audiovisual hiring place, an installation group. That fix together speakers for concerts, for festivals, for corporate businesses, meetings, and like gala events and all kinds of things. And they were driving by in their van on the way to a local gig, and they used the bathroom in my mum's workplace. And she came home to me one day and she said, "You'll never guess what happened today." And I went, "What?" And she went, "You know that band Wheatus?" And I was like, "Yes, unfortunately, don't remind me." She went, "They used our toilets." And I was like, "Wow, okay. Strange." Anyway, totally pointless story, but I just thought that tied in quite weirdly. I didn't even realise they were still together. But yeah, Wheatus was my first concert. Technically, my first proper... well, my second concert was Foo Fighters, but I'm always going to pretend that was my first song, because it's just kind of embarrassing to admit to seeing Wheatus, but hey. Back then I was a teenage dirtbag, I guess. Favourite film? You cannot ask me this. You just can't. It's probably... I don't know, because I have so many. I think for a front runner, it's always been either Pulp Fiction, which was the film that really kind of got me into the idea that there's more to a film than just being entertained, you know, that you can do interesting things with storytelling and split narratives and timelines and the way films are actually put together. It kind of made me interested in sort of the blueprints and DNA of filmmaking and whatnot. But one of my all-time favourites is Empire Strikes Back. And years ago I had a job interview for a major cinema chain, and it was a group interview. And bearing in mind I had worked at a cinema prior to going for this interview, so I kind of thought I had that on my side. And it was a group interview, and you were asked questions, and you kind of had to do at one point a presentation of sorts where you had to stand in front of everyone else and you had to say what your favourite film was and you had to talk about it. And I picked Empire Strikes Back, which may be my favourite film of all time. And I gave this huge impassioned speech about what Empire means to me and how it has made me see things in so many different ways. And I was very impressed with it, if I'm being honest, if not at all modest. But so yeah, I set the bar pretty high, I think, that day. And then the person that ended up getting the job was someone whose favourite film was Rocky Balboa. Not the original Rocky, but like Rocky number 6, essentially, where old Rocky comes back. And I think his speech consisted of something along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing here, but yeah, I like Rocky Balboa because, like, you don't think Rocky can fight anymore because he's old and that, but he can, and he does, and he's pretty good, and I liked it. So yeah, and he got the job, and I didn't, so, you know, the world is a strange place. But yeah, I mean, it's a toss-up between Pulp Fiction and Empire, and a bunch of other stuff, to be honest, you know. I don't think I'll ever be able to narrow it down and say for definite, but yeah, you can take those two. And if you've never seen them before, go watch them. because they're both brilliant for different reasons. Favourite TV show, hands down, is The Wire. The Wire. Oh my goodness. I'm going to try and keep this brief because I could literally go on for about 2 hours about just how good The Wire is. It's amazing. If you've never heard of it before, it is a HBO show that ran for 5 seasons, I believe, and it's centered around the Baltimore drug scene, but it's interlaced with the politics of the city, the police department, working unions, and the newspaper. Each season kind of focuses in different areas, but just the way that show progressed, and it's amazing. If you've never seen The Wire and you want an example of some of why I think it's the best TV show ever, hands down, with Breaking Bad coming up really close behind it, with the possibility of maybe overtaking it, I don't know. It's a hard one to call, but for now it's definitely The Wire. But if you want an example, you should search on YouTube The Wire chess scene. Some of the best writing I've ever seen on television or in any medium. I love that scene and I love that show, and for Christmas I actually got all 5 seasons in a box set. And even though I've seen the show in its entirety twice, I'm looking forward to going back and watching it again. And if you've never seen it before, you don't know what you're missing out on. Favourite colour? I have 2. Can I have 2? Of course I can have 2. It's my tag video. Can make up the rules if I want. Favourite colours? Red and black. Favourite song? Never ever gonna be able to answer this. Never. Just too many. But one... Okay, if I have to give an example of one that could be, possibly, maybe, is in serious contention, it's Come Pick Me Up by Ryan Adams. But that's not saying it is. It's just a possible contender for something that could probably never ever be. Favourite restaurant? I don't really go out to eat that much, to be honest. One of my favourite restaurants that I've ever been to, though, is a little place called Argento's, where I used to study, where I was at university, and it's like a it's like a steak restaurant, and it was the first time I ever properly had steak, and they bring it out to you on like a hot rock thing, and you can cook it yourself, which I thought was pretty cool, and I always remember that place, so I'm gonna go with that. Number 6, favourite store. Does Amazon count? Because I always buy stuff off Amazon, like literally. I think I've been keeping them afloat for like the last year or so. I'm gonna count it as a store. Yeah, I mean, it's got everything you could want, and it's getting bigger, and it's awesome. The only thing is, sometimes their delivery prices can be a bit much. But yeah, nonetheless, Amazon, it's always reliable. Number 7, favourite book. Again, I can't really define this. I have a bunch of them. It's because my tastes vary. It all depends. Love in the Time of Cholera is one. And then High Fidelity is another. 2 completely different books, but you know what I mean, my tastes vary. Goodness, I can't narrow it down. I can tell you what I'm slowly reading through at the minute, if that's any consolation. There's a book called Cavalier and Clay, and it's about 2 cousins from different parts of the world during World War II who, well, I won't tell you anymore. but it's good from what I've read so far. It's cool. I've just realised there's probably so many in this, it's unreal. Favourite magazine? I don't really read magazines. I mean, I flick through them occasionally, but again, there's another. Probably Total Film is the only one that I've really ever kind of bought more than a few copies of. Edge magazine as well for games. Although I haven't bought a copy of Edge in what feels like a lifetime, but hey ho, there you go. Favourite shoes? I have a pair of black Winkle Pickers. Just the name alone sounds funny, it always makes me laugh. That I really like. They're kind of fancy dress shoes. As in, like, dress shoes that are fancy, not like, yeah. But I like them, they're pointed toes, nice. Other than that, I mean, I like all kinds of shoes, really. Just depends. Again, it's hard to narrow down. It's just, you know, whatever mood takes me, I guess. Let's see. Currently. Number one, currently feeling. Currently feeling good. I feel well rested. I've caught up with my sleep. I've just had some dinner, which was sausage and mash, which was rather nice. Which also answers question number 2, currently eating. So there you go, that's 2 with 1. Look at that. I'm so good at answering questions. Number 3, currently listening to the sound of my own voice. But other than that, the last thing that I was listening to is, let me see, last song I was listening to was new Dizzy Rascal song called Bassline Junkie, which is got an amazing bass line in it, strangely, you know, hence the name and all, but it's also pretty funny as well. Other than that, a new album from Spinto Band I started listening to. Spinto Band's like an American indie band that I found a number of years ago at Brighton's Great Escape Festival, that I thought had broken up, but apparently not, because they released an album last year which was called Shy Pursuit, which I reviewed and I liked quite a lot, and they've obviously been hard at work because they've got a new one out, called Cool Cocoon, I think it's called, and it's pretty good. What else? Let's have a look. Let's have a little look at what else I've been listening to. Let's have a look in recently played on my iTunes. Girl Talk All Day album because of the film Girl Walk All Day, which is awesome. It's just like 90 minutes of dancing. Matthew Dear, I Am I, Who Am I, Frank B, Flying Lotus, Friendly Fires, Kindness, Tonight, LP, Kendrick Lamar, Cool Kids. God, there's a lot of hip hop in that. Yeah, it seems I've just been listening to a lot of hip hop. ASAP Rocky, I did album review for last week. Didn't really like it, but if you want to know more about my feelings for that, go to thespeakerboxbelow.com. Another cheap plug for you right there. But yeah, that's what I've been listening to. I've got the new Everything album to listen to, new Toro y Moi, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, that's a lot of music there. Currently thinking about getting these videos uploaded, because, you know, I haven't done any for a while, so it'd be nice to get some out there. And thinking about the future of my videos, you know, 100 is a landmark, I guess, so yeah, it's gonna be good. Currently watching, obviously nothing at the minute currently, but the last thing I watched was a little indie film from 2009 by a guy called Matt McCormick called Some Days Are Better Than Others, which I found through the score done by Matthew Cooper. The score's amazing. The film's really good as well. If you're into sort of twee, quirky indie comedies, like if you've heard of Miranda July, then this is a definite recommendation, because it's along the same line as her kind of stuff, but it's very downtrodden. It's very kind of, I would say it's in mumblecore territory. It's got the lady from Portlandia, which is a show I keep meaning to watch, but I've not seen it yet. But it's good. It's a bunch of sort of interconnecting stories with different characters and whatnot, but yeah, I liked it a lot, even though it is kind of sad, but still, it's good. Yay, indie film forever, woo! I don't even know where that came from, but hey, let's just go with it. I am currently working through a bunch of screeners at the minute as well, and it's supposed to be seeing Les Mis. Even though I love the French Revolution, and I like some musicals, I am excited to see it. I'm curious to see it, I think, more than anything. But I don't know, we'll see. A couple of people that I know and whose opinions I trust weren't too keen on it, but then again, you know, it's like everything, you kind of have to experience it for yourself to fully gauge an idea of what it is. Yeah, so that's that. Currently wearing, well, it's a lazy Saturday. I was working last night and I woke up at about 3 o'clock, which obviously means nothing to you listening to this now, but it was just a few hours ago. So we've been a lazy Saturday. I'm just wearing a plain blue t-shirt and some dark navy blue sweatpants, because I'm just sort of mulling around the house, being lazy on a Saturday, hence lazy Saturday. Future children. It's not a definite. It's not something. It's not. Some people say it as a life goal, and you know, that's their prerogative, and if that's what they want, and that's cool. But for me, it's not a life goal. It's not something I feel I need to do. But you know, I've always thought it would be nice. I've always kind of wanted to be a dad, I guess. I think one day, I mean, it has to be with the right person, I guess, and I have to feel ready for it. It's funny because I'm at an age where a lot of people my age are actually getting married and having children, and it's like, you know, it makes you think, and it's like, well, you know, I'm not ready for that yet, but you know, maybe one day. It's not a definite yes, not a definite no. It's impossible, as is marriage, which is number 2. Again, some people set that as a life goal, and again, that's their prerogative, and if that makes them happy and that's what they want, then that's cool. But it's not definite for me. You know, it'd be nice, I guess, but whatever. I'm pretty easygoing, so, you know, c'est la vie. Number 3, future career. For the longest time I never knew what I wanted to be. Kind of toyed with all sorts, you know. But I think now I want to have a career in writing in one way or another, whether it be the stuff that I do now, like reviews, website work, blog work, article work, or whether it be fiction writing or screenwriting or even comic book writing. I recently sent off my first full comic book script, which I mentioned in an earlier video. So yeah, that's definitely what I want to pursue. You know, it's took me the longest time to figure it out, but I'm glad I went the long way to find out what it is I really, really want to do, rather than just kind of go off on a half-baked idea and kind of find myself regretting it. That's not even a word, regretting it. Later down the line. Live. Where do you want to live? I've always wanted to live in the States. Don't get me wrong, I love this country and I hate it at the same time. It's a complicated relationship I have with England and with Britain. I would love to live in the States. I've always wanted to live in New York. I've been once, but it's weird. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has had this, but when I got there, it just kind of felt like home. It felt like I belonged there. It felt like I'd been there for years. You know, it's just one of those weird things where there's no anxiety, there's no alienation, even though it's completely different, and the landscape and the lay of the land and the culture and the people are different, It's just weird. It was one of those things where it just kind of felt like a natural slot. I'd quite like to live in the French countryside at some point as well, maybe when I'm older. I'd like to go and live in different places. Canada, I'd like to live. I've always wanted to go to Canada. Never met a Canadian I didn't like. They're just lovely. Oh my goodness. I'm talking so bad. I talk so bad. Oh, goodness. Yeah, all sorts, Japan. I wanted to live in Japan for a while. I still kind of do. Everywhere, I guess. I just kind of want to see a little bit of everywhere. Alright, last section for the tag video bit, at least. Beliefs. Do you believe in God? I don't believe, and I do believe, and I don't know. That's the thing, I don't know. I don't have enough evidence to say yes. I don't have enough evidence to say definitely no. Whether you think that's sort of chickening out or sitting on the fence, I don't know, but I'm not prepared to commit to one thing or another unless I feel it, or I feel strongly compelled to either side. I think there's every possibility that there's something out there. I don't think it's the cranky old white guy with the beard that everyone, well, not everyone, that so many people seem to believe in. I honestly, I don't know. And I think that's a good thing. In some circumstances, I don't know, religion's a funny thing. If you believe, then that's great for you, as long as you're using it for good, and as long as it's helping you, and as long as you're not using it as a measurement of judgment, or you're not harnessing it against other people, or you're not trying to forcibly sway people's opinions or condemn them for not having your views, then that is awesome. For some people it's great, and if that helps you and that works for you, then all power to you. Keep doing what you do and keep believing in what you believe. Miracles, I don't know. That's an interesting one. I've never really thought about it. I mean, there's a lot of unexplained stuff happens in the world. I guess it has to be something. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. That's an interesting one, though. That is going to need some more meditation on that question, I believe. Love at first sight. Absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. I think it definitely exists, Whether or not that's the one true, solid love of your life at first sight, I don't know, but I definitely believe you can fall in love with someone upon first sight. But then again, I'm just super old school and uber romantic, and yeah, all lovey-dovey and sensitive and all feeling and all that stuff. So absolutely, love at first sight, definitely. I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say definitely. Ghosts, again, I don't know. Again, I'm kind of on the fence, I've never had any experiences, but people I know, and again, people who I trust implicitly have. So, yeah, I mean, every possibility. Sorry about that, I had to take a little break because I was having somewhat of a coughing fit. And, obviously that's not very relaxing or nice to hear, so... Anyway, I'm back, hopefully cough-free. Where were we? Number 5, aliens. Yeah, I think there's got to be something. I mean, considering how much vast space there is, how much there is out there. Don't, again, necessarily think it's greys or reptilians or little green men or flying saucers or what have you, but yeah, I think there's definitely some form of, biological life form out there. We can't be the only ones, whether or not it's, a species that's intelligent or superior intelligence to us, I don't know, but I definitely think there has to be something, somewhere You know, there's just so many vast depths that we've just not had the technology to explore, and you have to believe in the impression that it's probably, if there is something, it's the other way around, so hence why we've never really met in the middle, as it were. But yeah, I reckon there's some form of alien out there. Number 6, soulmates. Yeah, absolutely, and it doesn't even have to be romantic. I mean, yeah, you can find someone that is the one true love for you, but you can also find friends who are cut from the exact same cloth as you, you know what I mean? It's just, I think soulmates, definitely. 7 and 8 I'm going to answer together, heaven and hell. No, I don't think so. I mean, the former would be lovely, obviously, you know, that's a wonderful idea and there's great ideology, and again, if you believe in that and that works for you, then that's cool and more power to you. For me, I don't think so. But then again, you know, I have been wrong on occasions. Number 9, kissing on the first date. Absolutely. If you find yourself having a connection with that person and you find yourself getting on really well, you know, then absolutely, you know. Because otherwise you might regret it. You never know, you may have just that one date. It might just be the one evening with somebody who you may never ever see again. It may be a chance meeting. And if you don't kiss them, then you may regret it forever. Yeah. I'm not going to go any further into that, but yeah, absolutely, you know. I don't see why not in the slightest. Number 10, and this is a big one, especially for me. Do you believe in yourself? As a whole, yes, but it is a constant battle between me, the believer in myself, who can occasionally have an ego, and the rather jaded, skeptic, cynical side of me, who is my own biggest critic. For the longest time it has been very much a case of me versus I, and for the most part the believer in me wins out, but not without stiff competition. But I think that's healthy, you know. I think if you, I mean, it's incredibly important to believe in yourself, but you have to be honest with yourself as well, and you have to kind of find a way of questioning yourself rather than just accepting everything you do as amazing, you know. Yeah, so there you go. That is the tag questions. And as I said at the very start, if you're watching this, tag you at it. If you've not done it, it's your turn. If you've been watching with videos for a while and you've not made an account, but you've been thinking about it, you've been umming and ahhing, then tag your it. Sign up if you haven't already, and upload your first video, which is this. Well, not this one, but your version of this. There you go. Come and join. Come and jump in. The water is lovely. Anyway, so I asked for some questions on my Facebook, which you can friend me on. If you just go to my channel, there should be a link on the right. Click on that. Feel free to add me. So yeah, let's have a look at my Facebook questions. I've got a couple, and they're pretty good ones. Big Irish Whisperer Kevin asks, when did you decide to be you and not someone else? Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say about 17, because for the majority of my teenage years I kind of just went along with stuff that other people did, you know. I mean, I was very much It wasn't so much peer pressure as it was, but it was kind of very much a case of I hadn't really formed my identity, so it was kind of like moulding myself around other people, around the stuff they liked and whatnot, and yeah, so around 17 I started to break away and kind of discover things that I liked and kind of begin to form my own sort of identity. Very much a transitional period in my life, 17 to 18. It was very much the roots of who I would become, and they've grown stronger, and I've kind of defined myself more as who I am rather than fragments of other people and something that I'm not. So yeah, I would say, give or take, it's around 17, 18 is when I first decided to be me, and not who I wanted other people to think I was, I guess. Which you should never do, but when you're young, these things happen. But yeah, that's an awesome question. What's the average... sorry, this is from Yorkshire ASMR. What's the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Well, I suppose, in the fairness of scientific tests, you'd have to do variables. You'd have to laden a swallow with things. So, like, I don't know, maybe put a backpack with feathers in it on one of them. Backpack full of bricks. Actually, that's a bit harsh. Maybe something a bit heavier than feathers, but not as heavy as bricks. So, I don't know, maybe a backpack full of stuffed animals. Calculate their speed, and then maybe try and work out an average from there. Or you could set off 3 different swallows, calculate their speed individually, and average that out. There's a lot of testing going on. There's a lot of practical work to answer that question. So, unfortunately, I can't give you an answer on that at the minute. But lead me to some swallows and the necessary testing equipment, with some appropriate lab conditions, and we can work on finding that answer out. And finally, my third question. By the way, if you do want to ask me questions just in general, feel free. I'm quite happy to answer whatever. And finally, my third question from Facebook is from Songbird Whispers. The lovely Songbird Whispers. If you could be your own planet, what would it be called? And would you be in this universe or another? Okay, I'm going to answer this backwards, in a sense. So it would definitely be in another universe, because we know about this one. We know, well, not everything, but we have a basic scale of knowledge about this one. We know planets, we know what they're, so whether they're gas giants, we know whether they're mountainous, rocky planets, we know sort of their size and distances, and we have a general idea. So I would love to be a planet in another universe where there's so much potential, there's so much unknown, because it's so much to explore and so much to find out. That's the wonderful thing about science. It's just, constantly bringing new things to the frontier of its very essence. But if you could be your own planet, what would it be called? That's a good question. When I was in school many years ago, we actually had to do this as an English project. We had to make our own planet, and I remember naming mine Acquiesce. Not because I had an extended vocabulary as a child, but because it was the name of a song. And I kind of had to look up what acquiesce meant when I read this, to see if it still fits. And the definition for acquiesce is to accept something reluctantly, but without protest, which I actually think kind of fits me quite nicely, so I'm going to stick with what younger me picked out for this question many years ago, and I'm going to go with acquiesce. Unless I can think of a better name, which I probably might do by the time I finish this. But you know what? Actually, no. You know what? I already have. I'm going to stick with my very own Whisper name. My planet name would be Liberty, because on my planet, I want everybody to be free. I want everybody to be equal. I want everybody to feel free to be themselves, not who they want other people to think they are. So there you go. That is my planet name. Boom. So there you go. Some awesome questions. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so there you go. 100 videos. This is nearly an hour long. My goodness, I have rambled and rabbited on for so long. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride in the almost 18 months, I think, since I first signed up. Excluding the 6 I took off, so we'll say a year. But yeah, 100 videos, it's been great doing them. And here is to 100 more, and here's to having you all on board, and having you along the next chapter of my Whisper journey. Woo! But yeah, whatever you're doing the rest of this weekend, enjoy, and I look forward to hearing what videos you put out till you get to 100, and then from then I look forward to 100 more. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has listened in the past. Everyone who has put up with my absence when I was away, everyone who put up with that horrible Halloween joke I played in the Dr. Roberts 3rd edition, though I still have polarised opinions on that to this day. Everybody who's ever listened, everyone who's ever took the time, anybody who this has helped, I cannot say how pleased I am that it has helped. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give back, because this community has given to me so much, and I still want to give back over the next 100 videos. And I hope that you continue to get stuff from here, whether it be amusement, relaxation, stress relief, sleep, or just a way to kill time. Yeah, so yeah, thank you all for your time, for your patience, and most importantly, for being you and being here with me.